Hey everybody and welcome to Nerds Fail Me. My name's Chris Kennett and today I want to talk to you about a game that I've been enjoying for several months now, and that's Warframe. This free-to-play game on PS4 and PC has so much to offer. So if you've played Fortnite, you've played Overwatch, you've played League of Legends or any other such game and you're looking for something with more variety, here's 30 reasons you might want to give this a try. Number 1. The Curated Community. Rebecca Ford is the community manager at Digital Extremes, the company who developed Warframe. She's also known as like DE Rebecca, like you'll see her little tag. She voices the Lotus in the game, who is sort of like your in-game guide, but more than that, she manages the Warframe community, promoting good behaviour and positive culture there, leading to a fan base of incredibly supportive players. They're always happy to talk to you and teach you, and if you ask them a question, you're not going to get a bunch of people shouting, no, but you're going to get a bunch of people saying, oh, here's a solution to your problem, I remember when I was in your position. Players actually posted on Reddit, giving you an example about this, about how they didn't want Digital Extremes employees to undergo crunch time, because we've recently had this stuff with like Rockstar and Red Dead Redemption 2, what Telltale Games went through before they went extinct, and they posted this big open letter to Digital Extremes saying, please don't do crunch time, we would prefer if you actually just took care of yourselves, we'll wait for the game. And that's the sort of people that Digital Extremes has cultivated in the community, these people with big hearts, and it's a lot of that. Number 2. Playing together is easy. If you want to play solo in Warframe, that's fine. There's just one button that you press and you're away. Like every mission you select, you'll play solo. And if you want to play with just your friends, so you don't want like random people joining in, one button and your friends will have access to join in your mission. So they don't have to play with you, but if you want to just let people in that you trust, that's the way to manage that. And if you want to play with a bunch of randos, again, it's one button and you're away. The system will automatically match you up with a bunch of players, up to 4 for each mission you join in, and one player out of those 4 is going to be able to carry the rest of you. It's just a fact. Don't feel bad, they've probably been playing it far longer than you have, and it's just funny to watch the destruction they leave in their wake and to try and keep up with them. You never feel left out, but you feel safer with them around. Number 3. Space Ninjas. The Warframes that you play as come in many varieties, and I mean many varieties, but all of them move with stealth, precision and agility. It's really fluid to run around a level in a Warframe, unless that's not what you want. Number 4. Mission types. From the stealthy missions to hack important data or rescue VIPs, to the endless defense or survival missions, to the out-and-out killy, sabotage and exterminate missions, there will be missions you like and missions that you like less. But there's usually a powerhouse player who can carry you through all of them. So if you just go public, if you really don't like or struggle with a mission, there'll be someone who loves it and is going to make up for that, so that you can just focus on playing the bits that you do like and you can play this your way. Number 5. Open worlds. Starting with Plains of Eidolon, Warframe added an open world based on Earth that players can explore for a variety of experiences. Fortuna added a much bigger map on Venus, or Orb Vallis, with more to do on the frozen plains. Frozen, you say? Venus is red hot. Yes, but Orb Vallis is home to massive Orokin coolant towers that keep the environment icy so you can explore this brilliant frozen wasteland and all the new creatures and things that comes with. Number 6. Fishing. The plains boast spearfishing for rewards, and Orb Vallis expands this further with the robotic fish that swim the coolant waters. Each can be captured in a mini-game where you get it's not like a fishing rod, it's like a spear. It's spear fishing basically, and there's a trick with your timing to be able to capture the robotic fish in optimum condition. Number 7. Capturing animals in Fortuna. Fortuna adds conservation opportunities, so capture and save the local dwindling wildlife populace to, make sure they stick around. And this involves like tracking the animal, managing to make like a call to attract it to where you are, and then tranquilizing it while you wander around the frozen wasteland. Number 8. Hover skateboarding. It's not Tony Hawk's Pro Skater, but after you've ramped off a mountain on your customized hoverboard, you likely won't care. Called the K-Drive, these hoverboards can be ridden around the plains and Valis whilst jumping, grinding and pulling off tricks to gain standing with the local faction. Players can also participate in time attack races for extra standing. Number 9. Eidolons. Namesake of the plains, these gigantic synthetic creatures can be fought for special loot by taking out glowing sections on their bodies whilst avoiding lethal barrages of attacks. They can also be captured instead for greater rewards at greater risk, much similar to if you've played one of the Monster Hunter games, except in Monster Hunter you don't come up to like the size of what this thing's toenail would be. So yeah, that's fun. Number 10. Free stuff. Playing the game is free. No level, weapon or Warframe is gated off behind a paywall. Every single one can be obtained through gameplay or optionally purchased with paid currency. But that kind of leads me on to my next point. Number 11. Even the paid stuff is free. Platinum, the paid currency, can be earned in-game by selling mods and items to other players. It can also be gained as login rewards extremely rarely, as part of giveaways on dev streams on Twitch and the like, and it can be even gained for particularly rare gemstones that can be mined on Valis. There's so many ways to actually get the platinum. I don't really know how Digital Extremes make as much money as they do, but there must be some people out there who just like them enough to just buy the stuff because it is easier. But you never feel punished for having to go the, in quotes, long way round. There is paid-only content that can only be obtained through Steam, but you've got to search through a lot to find it, and it really is just colour patterns on the surface of your Warframes and things like that. It's not heavily related to gameplay, and there is an absolute ton of non-paid for content that you can buy that does the same job, it's just not that particular pattern. Aside from that, there are giveaways to Twitch Prime members who link their accounts, as well as a few coupon codes that grant free weapons and the like, such as the Vectis. I love the Vectis. Number 12. Weapon variety. Vectis is my favourite weapon at the moment, a sniper weapon that can shoot through multiple enemies at once with insane damage. But there is a big variety of weapons, both melee and ranged. You've got shotguns, sniper rifles, machine guns, pistols, beam weapons, grenade launchers, swords, hammers, whips, kunai, boomerangs, it's all here. If you can think of it, Digital Extremes have probably made it and you can probably get it. Number 13. Mods to play your way. Each frame, weapon and sidekick can be customised with mods that alter and expand their capabilities. This starts out small, like an extra 40% health or an extra 15% damage, but the more you play, the more you can tweak and improve each component of your loadout. Experimentation with what works best for you is key, and it can drastically change the way a frame feels to play or how much you enjoy a particular weapon. Now I know this can look very intimidating and complicated, but if you don't want to have to fuss with all this, there's just one button that automatically assigns them in a way that the system optimises. So you don't have to go all like high detail and get really anal retentive about that particular combo mod. You can just automate it, but if you want it, it's there. It's all under your control. Number 14. Fashion frame. More than the functionality, the way frames and weapons look can be customised with incredible detail, changing colours, model variants, decals and poses, as well as adding capes and weapon tassels. The phrase fashion frame is endgame is common, referring to how some endgame players often focus on making the coolest looking setup they can, including the layout of their ship with little statues you can get. You can get different kinds of ship, but you can customise so much about how your Warframe looks. There's little like bits of armour that sit on your shoulders and your chest and your knees that change how that looks, and all of this can be coloured using a massive sort of just array of preset colours. Number 15. Epic stories. When you first get into the game, you have a ton of questions about who you are and why you're here. Gradually, over the course of many quests and interactions with the Lotus, voiced by DE's Rebecca Ford, these slowly unravel the story behind the Tenno, the Orokin and the Warframes. Beyond that, there are story-rich factions to get involved with, such as the enemies you find in the heavily armoured Grineer, the technologically advanced Corpus Traders, and the mutated Infested. There are also friends in the people of Cetus and the debt-indented Solaris of Orb Valis, kept in slavery by the debts they owe for the augments that allow them to survive in Venus's frigid climate. Number 16. Procedurally generated levels. The standard missions take place in levels that are generated by randomly mixing up a large collection of themed tiles. So like there'll be a forest tile set for a few levels, there's one that's really cool that's like underwater, but in like, it's almost like in the internals of a huge submarine, so you've got like reactors and stuff, and then you've got like ice levels on Venus, sort of dry dusty levels on Mars. There's a big variety. No level you play will have quite the same layout, which gets you to keep on your toes with where you're going. You won't learn the route, you'll have to just keep on your tippy toes to be able to make sure you don't just run into a dead end. And this keeps levels from feeling stale, especially if you're grinding them for particular loot. Number 17. Bosses. Each planet has at least one boss enemy, with unique attacks, skills, and methods of taking them down. These provide an interesting fight where you've got to do a little more than just pouring out bullets. Each boss drops unique loot as well, usually for a particular Warframe that you can unlock. For example, the first boss you can grind is Jackal, this four-legged robot thing, who drops parts for the Rhino Warframe, who is super fun. Number 18. Aim gliding, bullet time, and wall running. Movement is key in Warframe. You can run and gun your way around just fine, but if you master the advanced movement, you can avoid getting hit almost entirely. Sliding along the ground and then jumping launches you into the air across huge distances, and if you aim whilst airborne, it causes you to fall much slower whilst you glide across the room, and you can take out multiple enemies while keeping up your motion and keeping out of the line of fire. You can even jump into a wall and run along it to avoid ground hazards, laughing at gravity's feeble grip on you the whole time. Number 19. It starts out easy. All this might seem a little intimidating, but the game allows you to play at your own pace. It's not until you've made significant headway that the game will put you in a level where you immediately have to get moving. It is worth messing around with the controls layout, as everyone tends to find their own preferred arrangement of buttons that is comfortable on their fingers. I've got crouch or slide still on my left control key, but Dee's Rebecca has it on her mouse 4, and many streamers will have it on the shift or other key close to the WASD arrangement. Play it your way. Number 20. Simulation in the relays. If you want to just mess around with your setup, you can step into a simulated environment in the relays to test out your capabilities with different frames, weapons and mod setups, spawning whichever enemies, that's pronounced victims, you like to test your mettle. Many YouTubers use this to demonstrate new additions to the game in a way that can be tested, giving context to how the powers would work across a variety of enemies. So you can spawn like 20 little weedy enemies and blitz them with something quite powerful, or you can spawn some really hardy enemies to show just how much damage a particular ability is dealing. And you can see those little numbers pop up, so if you want to sort of get really involved, that information is there for you. Or you can just ignore it and blitz everything. Number 21. Syndicates and Rewards. Players can join a variety of factions and earn standing with them to unlock special rewards. Standing is gained through special missions or by completing regular missions whilst wearing syndicate decals. Orb Valis' vent kits even grant standing just for pulling off tricks on your K-Drive hoverboard, so if you get out there and you just want to go for like a massive trick session, you're still going to get rewarded for that. Number 22. Expanding forever. This game is growing massively. Since the Plains of Eidolon update in October of 2017, there have been many additions in the form of new frames, weapons, quests and things to do. But now, in November of 2018, the Fortuna update has landed, building upon all of the great things that the Plains update started. Further to that, when the Fortuna update was announced, they immediately followed up in the same damn video with an announcement for the big update after that with Railjack, which will drop in 2019 and add space combat with players coordinating control of a frigate to take on much larger opponents on capital ships in space. This announcement did give me a little tear to my eye at how beautiful it all was, so there will be a link at the end of the video so you can just go and see it for yourself. Number 23. Crafting. Weapons, warframes and additional gear can be crafted in your ship's forge, so each level is littered with collectibles and resources to use. Frames themselves come in 3 parts usually: systems, chassis and neuroptics, which have to be built separately and then combined to make a full frame for you to play with. It makes each frame feel truly valuable, rather than just being a throwaway pickup that you have to work a little for them, and the rewarding feeling is worth every second when your avatar of death finally strides forth from the armoury. Number 24. The Wiki. The Warframe Wiki is famously well maintained by the same positive attitude that makes the community so great. Do you want to make a particular weapon or frame? This wiki has everything you'll need to find exactly what you want, and it's all nicely laid out with links to video guides from some of the Warframe partners a lot of the time, so no matter how you best learn that information or how you want it presented to you, there's a different way that you can pick it up so that it suits you. Number 25. I call this melee only hard mode. It's no secret that many players love a challenge. I've known people who are disappointed if a game doesn't come with a hard mode and ecstatic if it comes with a mode beyond that. Well, Warframe's got you covered in this regard. You don't need to have a primary, a secondary and a melee weapon. You could do this whole level with just a knife, and the game lets you put your metal where your mouth is. You can remove weapons entirely from your loadout to make the game a little more challenging and just run through a level with just a sword or just a pistol. You can really sort of like ramp up the difficulty for yourself. But it's not just posturing. If you have fewer weapons, the other weapons that you do have gain experience proportionally faster, so you actually benefit from your focus on 1 or 2 particular bits of gear. How cool's that? Number 26. The soundtrack. I'll link to the song that Digital Extremes put together for Fortuna for the announcement video, so you can go and listen to that for yourself. But this game has a fantastic soundtrack that adds such a great layer of atmosphere that you can lose yourself in it. Like inside 2 minutes, you're in there, you're in that zone. Everything is crafted just so to give you the best experience it can, and the soundtrack is no exception. Number 27. Enemy variety. With so many levels, Warframe needs a diverse roster of enemies to keep fights interesting, and Digital Extremes does not disappoint. From Grineer heavy gunners to Corpus nullifiers to infested ancients, there are tons of enemies that can pull out tricks from nowhere to keep you guessing what you'll come up against next. You'll quickly learn which targets to prioritise and which weapons work best in different situations. I've developed a particular hate for Corpus Ospreys and their apparently psychic ability to know when I'm about to pull the trigger and just dodge to the side. It just makes popping them all that more satisfying. Number 28. Ark Wings. In the spacefaring world of Warframe, the Tenno would be lost without the ability to fight in the vacuum of space, and the Ark Wings allow just that. Fixing on around the frame's middle, the Ark Wing allows you to fly and dodge through space with the same agility you enjoy on the ground. You also get to wield the massive Ark Wing weapons against bigger and faster foes than you will encounter on the ground, so you've got like ships that just make you feel tiny, but you still get to lay into them with a sword that's like twice as long as you are tall. It all scales up fantastically. Number 29. Pets. Even if you do play solo, you don't have to be alone. You can choose from a variety of companions to follow you into battle and kit them out with an array of supporting armaments. Choose from floating sentinels to loyal Kubros to adorable moa pets crafted in Fortuna. Or play truly solo if you want to. It's always up to you. Number 30. Perfect and immerse yourself. With such a huge array of frames, weapons and modifications, you can find a way to enjoy almost everything you can find in your armoury by altering it to suit your playstyle. And while every player has their favourites, you'll seldom find a frame or weapon that you just feel is rubbish. The result is a game that you can throw yourself into for hours on end, or just 15 minutes if that's all you've got. Every moment is a joy because it's yours. You crafted this frame, you upgraded this weapon, you chose the colours and the attachments. Overall, I can't recommend this game enough. It's free, so if you've got time, give it a download on PC or PS4 and try it out. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer them all. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you out there, Tenno.